We here at GB News, we're looking to do our bit as well to help you get ahead of inflation and price rises. So today we're going to look into how you ask your employers for a pay rise in the correct way.
Yes, well, Managing Director Heather Scales joins us from Heartbeat HR, a HR consultancy firm. Good morning, Heather. I just wondered, there'll be people around the country at the moment who are getting paid in a way that would have been adequate before, but now they're like, this is simply not stretching to my needs. Is it the right time to ask an employer for a pay rise under this economic climate?
I think it's a good question because businesses are struggling just as much as individuals. The other thing to take into account that normally businesses, well, certainly private sector businesses, won't look at cost of living. Often their increases are based on performance. So we would need to take that into account. I think there's never a right time to ask for a pay rise, but I certainly have some tips which will help individuals with it.
Super. So what would they be, Heather? What would your first piece of advice be?
Firstly, know your worth. So check out your salary, where it fits with salaries within your region. There's ways of doing this. Online tools such as Glassdoor will help you position where you are. But also think about how you're performing. So what you want to do is when you have a conversation, go equipped. So you have that salary data check, but also you've worked out and you've really thought, am I performing effectively in my role? So that's the first stage. The next bit would be about picking your moment. So really ensure that when you sit with your manager, you do it at the right time. So not when they've just rushed into work or they're rushing out to work or rushing to a meeting. The best time would be to do it when you've got a one-to-one with them. Go fully prepared and think about what you want to say and think about, again, your performance and articulate, get that across to the manager. The other step is to...
Sorry, I just wanted to ask, I find that really interesting what you say about asking for a pay rise and knowing your worth, because there's so many studies that show men overestimate their worth and women underestimate their worth. So I think in a way that's easier for men to do. Go to their employer and say, look, this is how I've been performing and I think I deserve this much of a pay rise. But women can be a bit more hesitant. How would you encourage women to do that if they think they're being underpaid?
I think prepare, that's the key thing. And also it's about having that really good relationship with your manager. I'd like to think that most managers build that with their team. But if you haven't got that relationship, I would say write it down, write what you want to say down, and it helps that conversation. And it gets rid of those nerves that people have for those sort of awkward conversations that we don't like. But the other thing is to consider is to be open-minded. So as I said, at the start, companies are struggling as well as employees. So think about different ways that could help save money. So hybrid working is a great example of this, where you can have that work-life balance, which we all want, but also you're saving money in terms of commute fares. So, I don't know, let's say for average, someone's rail cost is £20 a day. If you put that over a year, you're saving over £1,000. So think differently when you go in, because obviously managers may say, sorry, we just can't afford it.
And do you think, Heather, at the moment, because the workplace can be quite stressful at the moment between bosses and employees, because everybody's trying to work out what this new work-life blend looks like. And you've got employees, particularly, I would say, working mums or working parents saying, well, I don't need to be in the office 5 days a week. I want to be at home. Does that change the power shift in terms of whether the employee can ask for more money? Because our boss is turning around and saying, well, it's all very well you want a pay rise, but you're not doing the commute anymore and you're not paying that money on your travel, like you were just saying. And therefore, actually, I'm going to cut your pay now that you're not having to pay for it. Is that happening and is that acceptable?
It it's not acceptable. For me, it's around the role that you undertake. It's your worth, it's your value to a company. And to suggest that you would reduce someone's pay, well, first of all, it's unlawful. You'd have to get someone's permission to do that. For me, it's totally wrong. Don't we want engaged individuals that have goodwill, want to do more for the company, want to perform? Having posing questions like that to an individual is going to turn them off. Are they going to want to do more for you? They're not. So I believe people can ask for a pay rise because it is about their value, the value that they bring to that organisation, the value that they bring to that role.
Okay.
That would be my view anyway.
Thank you, Heather. There's lots there. I took some notes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Heather Scales there from human resources consultancy firm Heartbeat.